My name is Saffiya Haddad and I'm from South Manchester. Before I came to Cambridge, I completed A-levels in French, History, Latin and Mathematics at Manchester High School for Girls. I think I've always been interested in studying law, and I guess that's because it permeates every aspect of life. Everything we do between individuals, our relationships are regulated by law, between individuals and the state, that's regulated by law. And I quite like that, the fact that it is so all-encompassing. When I was younger, I did some work experience placements at a law firm. I also, anyone can do this, you can just go and sit in on a court case and see if that kind of thing appeals to you. It can be quite difficult to get the gist of it, but I was quite taken with the legal arguments and how they were presented, and I think that just sort of confirmed that law was the right path for me at university. I chose St John's because I knew that I wanted to go to a big college, but also one that was quite friendly. And here at St John's, now I'm here, I can definitely say that that's the case. There's such a huge global diversity at college of people from across the world, and it's a really fun place to be. We've got fantastic facilities for sport, for music, for whatever it is you want to do. As my parents are always glad to hear, the food is really good here as well, and the accommodation's fantastic. Really, when my friends come to visit, they're usually very jealous of the room that I've got, so it's a great place to be. So, as an undergraduate lawyer at Cambridge, your timetable is essentially on a fortnightly basis. In first year, you study 4 papers, each of which you'll have 1 supervision each fortnight for each paper. The work for a supervision is approximately, we say about 20 hours per supervision, that's the reading. But in addition to that, you've also got lectures which are really great here because they map on exactly to what you're studying and really do sort of accelerate you through the reading for that supervision. And all the lectures are of very high quality. At St John's, because it's such a big college, there are so many things you can get involved in. There are sports teams for pretty much every sport, even some I'd never heard of before I got here. There are also societies, our JCR, which is like our student body for college, our representatives for college, is very active. Personally, I played netball all 3 years at college, and in second year I was captain. And in my third year, I'm the president of the Winfield Society, which is a society at St John's for everyone who studies law. It's part of the wider philosophy we have here, which is, yes, you're doing a law degree, but we want you to be more than just lawyers, just textbook lawyers. It's not purely about the black and white letter of the law. So as part of the Winfield Society, I know that we're very keen to encourage students to go beyond the confines of their studies. We have talks on academics about areas that we wouldn't study on our law degree, things like medieval law. We also have had guest lecturers in, very esteemed speakers such as Lord Hennessy and Sir Richard Akins, who have talked about political issues like Scottish independence. In addition to that, we also encourage cultural experiences for our members. So we've been as a group to watch an opera performance. We've been to the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden to watch a production by the Royal Ballet. And of course, as a law society, we are always encouraging employers to come and speak to us, and they're very keen to do so. We have top leading commercial law firms from London who come to speak to our members at John's, barristers who come to tell us what it's like to pursue a career at the bar, which is all very informative because, of course, when you get here, you don't necessarily know what a career in law will entail. and ultimately their advice is invaluable when you're making applications further along the line. So I think it's important to realise that law isn't just about reading law books. You have to go beyond that, and we're encouraged to do so here. Even before you get to St John's, you already have support from college. When you receive your offer, following confirmation of your results, you are sent a reading list. But don't worry, it's not a reading list about law. You're not told to go out and read a law textbook. It's part of this wider philosophy we have about not just being a black and white letter lawyer. The wider reading is more about political history, for instance, classical novels, and you really are encouraged to read into that. And in fact, any book you want to read, doesn't matter what the subject is, it doesn't have to be law. College with the book grants will, help you pay for the cost of those books, and which is really fantastic. And throughout each summer, you are sent a reading list from the Director of Studies, and it's not geared towards your legal studies. It is about enhancing your own knowledge about issues, which is, I think, something that should be encouraged and is very well received by the students. Once you actually arrive in September, October in your first year, the college runs induction sessions specifically for lawyers. These are led by the Director of Studies for Law or some of the other law fellows, and often with the input of current students to offer their own advice. And these cover really what now to me seems like very basic things, but how to read a case. What is it you're looking for when you're reading a judgment from the Supreme Court? What is the key sentence you need to take away from that, which can be quite difficult when you first get here. And your Director of Studies and law fellows here will also talk to you about how to approach a reading list, how to manage your time, because most people who come haven't studied law before, and I wasn't one of them who'd studied law before, and it can be quite daunting and you need to very quickly adapt. But you do it without even realising, and then all of a sudden you've come on leaps and bounds and you realise, oh, my style of writing is much better. This reading list that used to take me however many hours isn't taking me as long. And so you do feel the benefit from that. And if you ever have any problems throughout the year, be it academic or otherwise, your Director of Studies and tutor are always there to support you anyway. And the support goes on even past graduation. When you're applying for jobs, because you've spent so much time with your supervisor and your Director of Studies, they know you very, very well. You see them so much and in such an intense environment that they know what suits you, and they are able to give you very specific advice about where they think you would fit in the workplace and what kind of career would suit you, which you might not even have thought about. And it's invaluable really to have someone who has that experience to be able to tell you, you should think about doing this, actually, that might suit you. And then the other side of that is, of course, when they are giving references for you, they know you very well and the references reflect that. But even if when you graduate, you don't want to immediately go into the workplace, the support for continuing studies, either here, be it in London, in Oxford, or even further afield in America, or anywhere you want to do postgraduate studies, the support really does continue, and college is always behind you, and that's a really nice feeling to have. When I graduate, I'm moving to London as I have a job training contract at a leading commercial law firm. Further down the line, I'm not sure yet. I have been very interested in company law, which I've been studying this year, and hopefully perhaps specialising in that further along the line. If I could choose again, I know I would still choose to do law and come to St John's. I've thoroughly enjoyed all 3 years here. It's been a fantastic experience. I've met so many people, not just my peers, and made lasting friendships with people who are also undergraduates, but also people from the legal profession, people who are studying postgraduate degrees here, the fellows themselves. It has been a fantastic opportunity, and I feel very lucky to be a part of the history here.